Thank you very much, Mr. Master of Ceremonies. Thank you very much, Gil Figaro. Pleasant good afternoon to everyone. Every year on Sunshine Awards, what we do at this time is to initiate certain people into the Hall of Fame. In this era, we present Calypsonians who, by their contributions, have helped to make the Calypso the outstanding art form it is. And first of all, let me apologize for the absence. We had a mix-up in the travel arrangements last night, and two persons who were supposed to be here are really crying now in Trinidad. But first of all, let me begin by introducing our first person in that Hall of Fame tonight. I'm speaking of Mr. Roderick Lewis, the mighty Viper. Give him a nice round of applause. Viper began his singing career in the 1940s, 1945 to be exact. And he enriched the art form with his humorous brand of calypso. Always humor, always tell me, try to bring humor, accompanied by sweet melodies and bouncy rhythms. And he was associated with the Young Brigade Calypso tent. He became very famous for his calypso Ramadan spin bowling in 1952, a cavalcade of calypsos in 1953, Let Them Spree in 1954, Some Peculiar People in 55, sang for Princess Margaret also. He was a very good tent singer, a very skilled guitarist, a genius at extempo singing. Sorry he isn't here tonight. He was also considered the most prominent hustler of the art form. You know, hustling is an art, where you can hustle for the American dollar. It's really an art. And these guys have a way of making verses and making you feel that they're composing, and he was a master of that. Oh, lady, with you so beautiful there, and come and give me a nice chair, and when you finish, say, brother, come and put in my hat a big fat dollar, etc. He was a master of that. And one of the calypsos he sang was one in which he was trying to show that white people have their bacchanal, and sometimes you only see bacchanal among black people, and sometimes we don't see how white people behave. They became very, very famous. In fact, I'll give you a verse. It goes like this. It's a dirty Jim Swizzle Club at Bombay to see how white people does break away. A dirty Jim Swizzle Club at Bombay to see how white people does break away. All hotels are just like this, Bel Air Hotel and Hotel de Paris. When they drink their whiskey and their romancing, they behaving socially. See this white man hugging that white man wife, and see this white woman squeezing that man so tight. If that is the way of friendship in life, to see that white man pinching that white man wife. We welcome Viper to the Hall of Fame tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, the mighty Viper. Give him a nice round of applause. The second person in our Hall of Fame is Victor Springer, the mighty Viking, who, like Viper, was also a member of the Young Brigade of Singers of the 40s, and who cried last night because he couldn't come up here to see Killer. Killer, I hope you're listening. And he appeared on stage with stalwarts like Spoiler and Zebra and Melody. He won the 1948 Calypso King competition at the Young Brigade tent. He gave us such hits with like Lumad Say You See Boys. You remember that one? Lumad Say You See Boysy, Lumad is a liar. I can't get a word. You remember that one? And he sang things like Chinese cricket match of 1947, in which he was making fun of the Chinese in the cricket match of 1947, in which he sang cricket match Wung Pang, bowl and caught by Tupang and Chung Pang, get clean bowl by Wung Pang. The whole oval shout when Wung Pang get Wong Pung Ching out. They don't make them so anymore. That was in 1947. And he was in the forefront of the Calypsonians fight. He became the president of the Calypsonian Association in 1965-66, fighting for better conditions for Calypsonians. He was one of the founding members of the Trinidad and Tobago Calypsonian Association. And so Sunshine Awards tonight is proud to welcome to the Hall of Fame Victor Springer, the mighty Viking. Our third inductee is Christopher Christo Lidlow, better known as Christo. Clear diction, beautiful melodies, made him one of the most famous calypsonians of Trinidad and Tobago in the 40s and 50s. In the 50s, he gave us hits like Lazy Man Paul, Josephine, Miss Sweden is the queen of the universe. Remember that one? Chicken Chess. Christo enjoyed the narrative form of calypsos, always narrating stories, often capturing his audience by bringing them to the scene of the event. His calypso Dumb Boy and the Priest is an example of Christo's narrative wit and imagination. In the 60s, he became the master of ceremonies for the original Young Brigade 10. He was also responsible for the development of many of today's stars. And one of his famous calypsos was when we began to have that cash and carry plan, when this woman walked into Hilo Grocery. First time she's seeing all this chicken in the grocery. One morning at Hilo, sing with me, I went to buy beans and potato. One morning at Hilo, Christo went to buy beans and potato. A young woman walked inside of the grocery. In front everybody, pick up a cold piece of chicken chest and promptly concealed it below she dress. She take this cold box of chicken chest. She choose out the best, mama, yo, this ice cold box of chicken chest was found under she nylon dress. Since you like that, I'll give another verse. I hope they forgive me. The boss of the grocery wanted to extend some sympathy, but this woman so bold-faced, she thief and she cussing in front the people place. When Constable Bess took out the chicken, I watched the woman and I start to grin. She caught a cold and she fell down twice. Her tummy was as hard as a block of ice. She take this cold box of chicken chest. She choose out the best, mama, yo, this ice cold box of chicken chest was found under she nylon dress. Christopher's son, Christopher Laidlow's son, is here with us tonight, and I want to call him up on stage and present this to him, hoping that he'll walk in the footsteps of his father. Come right up, come right up. While he's coming, Mr. Figaro is always asking me, before I take my seat, I promised Mr. Figaro that next year we're going to make a calypso for the Hall of Fame. So Mr. Figaro next year will get that calypso. But they asked me what I'm going to sing tonight. I said, I made a lovely calypso here a few months ago, one day Calypso Monarch, and everybody in New York is saying it's controversial. I said, what is controversial about it? I want to give you a verse. You tell me if it's controversial. Because this is a true story. This white man walked up to me and says they should send back all Vincentians, all Trinidadians, all Grenadians, send back everybody back to the Caribbean. And I say, why? I say, it ain't we. So I call the calypso, it ain't we. And we love our Afro-American brothers, but it ain't we. You want a verse? A white man complained to me about black people in Brooklyn, how they abusing drugs and the white people they mugging. He said the folks from the Caribbean is only pimp and tout in his land. Immigration should send them back to their homeland. I told this white man, mister, you have a brain concussion. You confusing we with Afro-American. Though both we may be Brooklynese, culture makes us different if you please. Caribbean and black American come like chalk and cheese. I said, if you see a black man eating lunch by a hot dog stand and buying all the food and grocery in can, And big Christmas Day man, he buy McDonald's eating old ham. That, my friend, is black American. But if you see another man with a roti in his hand and buying saltfish and pigtail from them Korean, and for Christmas he's shipping man 4 barrels back to his homeland, you talking about a Caribbean man. But you want to send them back. What you say? Send them back. Well, if the Caribbean man go back to his homeland, who will raise your babies, white man? And Gil Figaro will go back to TOBAGO to plant mango. God bless.
No, actually, while I was sitting backstage listening to Chalkdust, it really brought back memories. I actually could remember the age I was when I heard the CALYPSO. Let me see if I remember the words. The chicken chest. What is it? One morning in Hilo, Christo went to buy meat and potato. So let's welcome Chalkdust back for the presentations.
And Penny, come, Miss Young, good for so. Now we induct, ladies and gentlemen, in the Hall of Fame, inductees for the Steel Band. First of all, we turn to a guy who, as I said last night, cried in the airport because he couldn't be here with us. His name is Ozzie Campbell, and we used to call him Redheasy, known in the Steel Band world as Redheasy. And he played a major role in 1937 in the formation of the band Casablanca. Redheasy emerged from the era when steel band men played the dustbins and paint pans. In the 40s, he helped to establish the steel band as an orchestra. His love for the steel band was so strong that he saw in the steel band the seed of growing nationalism in Trinidad and Tobago. He even went to jail for his belief and commitment to the steel band movement. Redheasy defended the steel band's men's right to play in backyards and villages at a time when the middle and upper classes were hostile to any form of steel band playing. Lord Kitchener referred to him in a calypso in 1946 as the foreman boomer from Bar 20. And to tell you about how in those days, if you want to understand those days, there was a time in those days, and a true story, when this pan man beat his girlfriend. And in the court, the magistrate says, okay, walk across by the sergeant and take your bail and sign a bond to keep the peace for 3 months. And the guy said, thank you, sir. And as he was about to to go around to sign his bail, he had 2 pan sticks in his pocket. And the magistrate said, you are a pan man? He said, yes, sir. He said, come back, take 3 months. And that is social history. So for defending pan men like that, tonight we welcome to the Hall of Fame, Redheasy Campbell. And he's not here with us tonight, so I'm going to take his award for him back to Trinidad and Tobago. Hold it for me, darling. The second inductee into the Hall of Fame is a man called Sterling Betancourt. Some people say Court. Sterling Betancourt, who has been playing his ping pong tenor pan since the 1930s. From Laventille in the 1930s to St. James in the 40s, to Europe with Trinidad All-Steel Orchestra TASPO in 1951 to perform in the Festival of Britain under Major Griffith. You remember that guy? TASPO was the first steel band to leave Trinidad and Tobago to perform in Britain. In fact, their scheduled departure from Trinidad on the ship San Mateo was delayed because of rain. The Trinidad Guardian's headline on July the 4th blared, delayed TASPO all set to show the king how to beat pan. They left on Saturday, July 7, 1951. After touring Europe with TASPO in 1951-52, Sterling stayed in Europe to work London's cabaret with Russell Henderson, who accompanied him on piano. Sterling also pioneered the establishment of steel bands in primary schools in Europe. Sterling also toured the Far East in the 90s. He thrilled and excited the audience with his tone and unique style of playing. All the schools in Britain He went around all in the southern, especially in southern London. And today, if all those schools in Britain have pan, it is because of men like Sterling Betancourt. So for his contributions to the steel band movement, especially in Europe, the Sunshine Awards welcome Sterling Betancourt to the Hall of Fame. And he has flown all the way from London to be with us tonight. We welcome on stage Sterling Betancourt.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, this comes as a surprise to me. Chalk, just say I must say a few words. But I want to thank all the people from the Sunshine Award for putting on such a marvelous function. Actually, I heard about this about 3 weeks ago. I had no idea. First, I've never heard of the Sunshine Award because you said it started in 1989. 1989, I was in Casablanca at the Sheraton Hotel for 6 months, so probably that's why I never heard of it. But I'm proud to get this award, and this is something that you don't ask for, you can't buy it. It has to be given to you, and I'm proud that it happened to me. Thank you very much.
And thank you, Redheasy, and thank you, Sterling, and thank you all the old pan men who have contributed to making the pan the national instrument of Trinidad and Tobago and a wonder of the world. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. You know, Sterling was also, the University of London also extended honorary fellowship to him a few years ago. And we think that's really an honor.